Hello my beautiful friends and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a video that I have promised to do for a long time. Sorry about that, but finally we're here. A while back I did a review of this Dior Backstage Face and Body Glow product highlighter thing, and then I later mentioned I also have the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Face Filter. I probably should know the names of these, I'm so sorry. So I'm going to be doing sort of an in-depth review and comparison of both of these. I have lots of different points I'll go through. I will link timestamps down below. They will appear as chapters, so you can just watch what is relevant to you if you don't want to watch the whole thing. I have applied both of these products to my face. I have the Charlotte Tilbury on this side and then the Dior on this side, and I have the Charlotte Tilbury one in the shade 1. I want to talk about the price and packaging and all that first. The Dior product is, I have written everything down because there is no way I will remember all of this. It actually looks like they are the same size, but they're not. The Dior is 50 milliliters, the Charlotte Tilbury is 30. So I think this is a really good size, and the Dior is $38 or 28 pounds, and the Charlotte Tilbury is $44 and 34 pounds. So this is clearly more expensive. It's also it's actually considerably more expensive when I kind of calculated price per milliliters, because I'm weird like that. So the Dior one, and I did this only in dollars, is 76 cents per milliliters, whereas the Charlotte Tilbury is 1.46 per milliliters. So this is almost twice as expensive considering like the price per mil. That is something to keep in mind, and it was kind of surprising to me because I felt like Dior would be at least as expensive and probably more expensive. Moving on to packaging, I don't feel like either of these are actually that travel friendly. The Dior one is definitely better. The Charlotte Tilbury one is a lot more luxurious looking with the sort of gold cap and the glass, but it's heavier, and also I haven't treated this that poorly. I don't throw it into a makeup bag. It just stands in my vanity, but it does touch other products occasionally. But as you can see, basically all of the text has rubbed off, both on the front and in the back. It's kind of annoying because I really liked the way it looked, and now it's just looking really worn, and I've treated it kind of like semi-nicely. Anyways, the Dior one is plastic and it's like easy to squeeze. It's very convenient, like a very convenient size. It's light, and I also actually quite like the way this looks. It's kind of simple. So I have had a problem with the foundation that comes in the same kind of bottle being a little bit messy and leaking a little bit out the cap, and I feel like that is kind of typical for these kind of like the products packaged like this, but I haven't had an issue with this glow product yet, so I feel like I probably can't fault it for that. They are two different products. Maybe the other one is more prone to leaking. The Charlotte Tilbury one, I hate the spatula thing. Not a fan. I don't use this to apply into my face. I find it really unhygienic. I much prefer things that you sort of squeeze out of. So with this, I tend to just take it off and then take some off on my hand, and I just make sure I clean my hand before I use it every single time. Moving on to the shade range of these products, I have the Dior in the one shade that it comes in, and then the Charlotte Tilbury in shade 1. I am going to talk about the Dior one first, and it's a beautiful shade, and I feel like it's probably more universal than it comes across on me. Like, it will fit a lot of skin tones, but on me it is a touch dark. It is very gold. It's so beautiful. I don't think it alters the skin tone that much. On me, I get like a slight more like a slightly warmer skin tone, but it really doesn't have any coverage. So it's just that it is quite gold. I think it will suit a lot of different skin tones. On me, I can really only use it on my cheekbone and over my eyebrow, maybe my brow bone. I tend to put it, but if I put it down the center of my nose or over my lip, it's too dark. It just, when I turn my head, it looks gold. I wish it was something that came in a few different shades. The Charlotte Tilbury one comes in, I think it comes in 12 shades. I think I counted 12 on the website, which is good. It does have a little bit of coverage, so I think this one is better if you can go in store and check it out and make sure that you get the right tone, especially the right undertone for you. So I have the one in Fair, which I think is the palest one they do. The sort of reflect on this is very sort of almost white. It's very cool, so I think that tends to look really good on lighter skin tones as well, whereas the Dior one is much more gold. It's a lot more extra and beautiful when sort of the sun hits your skin, so definitely a lot easier to use all over the face. The Charlotte Tilbury one I can use down my nose and over my lips, which I have done today, and I think that looks really good, and it looks like a highlight. It doesn't sort of look yellow or darker in some sort of angles. All right, let's get the product out of the packaging and talk about the texture and the finish. First off, the Dior. I'll show you a little bit here. It is very, very light in texture. It's already running down my hand. It's very light and very thin, fluid, and I think it's very easy to blend out. When it does dry down, it dries down to, it feels like nothing. It's completely dry as well. One thing to note though, and this is a big difference between the two products, the Dior one is not a kind of primer. It doesn't help your foundation go on. It doesn't blur your pores. It's not meant to be any of those kind of products. It's just meant to give a glow to the skin. The Charlotte Tilbury one is much more like almost a primer, but not really, and not fully a moisturizer, but it is moisturizing. The Dior is just straight up and down a liquid that dries down, and it's very beautiful. The Charlotte Tilbury one is definitely quite different. You can immediately see this is a lot more of a creamy product. It's a lot thicker in texture. It feels like you mix the primer and a moisturizer a little bit. I feel like it stays a little bit sticky all day. It's not a huge issue. It's just such a big difference in the two products. That being said, I feel like they are both quite lightweight products that don't feel heavy on the skin, even when I use them all over my face like I have today. I've used them under foundation, I mixed them into my foundation, and I also have it on top of my foundation used as a highlighter, and they still feel like very, very lightweight products. When it comes to the finish of these products, I'm going to show you close-ups again because they are quite different. The Dior one is a lot more gold, both in tint and also in the reflect, at least compared to the shade that I have in this Charlotte Tilbury. It has tiny specks of, I want to say shimmer. It's not fully glitter, but it is a little bit more textured. I also feel like the Dior one is a little bit more metallic in the finish. I don't feel like it necessarily highlights textured skin, but it's definitely not sort of smoothing the skin or blurring pores in any way, shape or form. The Charlotte Tilbury, however, it does do that, and that's why I tend to think this is much better all over. So today I did apply both of these products all over my face, so you can see what it looks like on bare skin, and then you will see that the finish of the Charlotte Tilbury, because it is so much more natural and smooth, and it's perfecting the skin as well as giving glow. It's much better if you want one product just to apply all over your face. Quickly, before I go on to the application of these products, the scent. What you should keep in mind, the Charlotte Tilbury one, I feel like it has a faint, like a very, very faint scent when you first apply it, but to me it's not strong at all, and it fades away very quickly, so I'd say it's next to no scent. The Dior one, however, does have a slight sort of perfumey scent. Yeah, definitely perfumey. On me, that definitely disappears quite quickly, but if you are easily irritated by scent, just test it out in store first or get a sample and save yourself some money if that is going to be a problem. Okay, moving on to application, and I will be applying this on my body. I should probably take off this. Let's start with Dior. I showed you what it looks like on bare skin and just alone. I don't tend to ever really do this. I think if I apply it just on my cheekbone and over my brow, I can do this, and I don't blend it in with any kind of foundation or any other makeup. But I don't put this all over my face. I feel like I get a little bit Tin Man-y. And when I apply this, I tend to always avoid sort of around my nose here, under my eye. I think it's highly unattractive to apply this next to the nose, and also just under the chin. It can look kind of sweaty. I do mix it with foundation and it's worked really well. It's mixed very well with all the foundations I own. That goes for really both of these products. I really like that, and that's a lot more subtle. You don't get that very like intense all over your face Tin Man look, but my favorite is still to just maybe one drop in my foundation, and then the rest is applied very strategically as a highlighter. And of course, my favorite way to use this is on the body. I think it is so beautiful. So what I do is I take quite a few drops of this, mix it in with a body lotion, and then I go over, say, my legs, and then I take this product onto a big body brush like this. This is my favorite body brush ever. I don't think I'm ever going to use anything else. It's the Patrick Ta one. So I put a product onto the brush or directly onto the skin, and then I go a little bit more strategically in certain places before the body lotion has dried down. The Charlotte Tilbury one is completely opposite. I love using this on just on bare skin, especially if I don't want to apply foundation or anything like that. It is so lightweight. It has a little bit of coverage, so it's just like putting on this veil of slight skin perfection. It's a very different kind of glow, and I hope you see that from the pictures as well. They are both beautiful, but the Charlotte Tilbury one is definitely a winner for using all over the face. Or I also use this as a highlighter. It is really beautiful and it's subtle. So when I use this product even all over my face, I don't feel like I have to avoid around my nose. I feel like it looks good all over the face, and it's just smoothing everything out. It's so beautiful. And one use for this that I would definitely never use the Dior one for is I take a little bit and I apply it under my eyes. Because it is so creamy, it doesn't feel heavy, it's very light, and it's just helping bounce light off. So I did go over with powder like around my nose and under my eye to sort of take down the shine a little bit, but if you just avoid those areas altogether, it's better. So I just want to apply a little bit to the body very quickly. I don't have a body lotion for hand here, so I'm gonna go against my own advice and not use it. The actual product is quite a bit darker than my skin, so it's not altering your skin tone that much. After talking about the scent, I do really notice it. So as you can probably tell from the shots, I do really like to apply these products with a dual fiber brush. I think using your fingers, especially when you're just not going all over the face, can be really nice as well. I prefer to just go in, if I'm going all over my face, with a large dual fiber brush, and then I just take my fingers and I tap it to get rid of any streaking, and it just tends to sort of melt into the skin a little bit better, I think. I also have this Tom Ford flat brush. It obviously doesn't have to be Tom Ford, but something that is quite thin and very flat. So I just lay it down on my cheekbones. I tend to get a little bit more payoff, sort of intensity payoff, especially from the Charlotte Tilbury. So I tend to do that around the cheekbones, and then I take my fingers and just tap around the edges to blend it out. They do wear quite well, both of them. The Dior one dries down, it stays put. I find that I can get a little bit of transfer on clothing, but it's mostly sort of shimmer transfer. But keep in mind, it's not completely transfer proof. I find that it's quite sweat proof. It does stay on all day, and the Charlotte Tilbury one stays on quite a while on my skin. It looks nice, and when it kind of wears down, it still looks good. It doesn't separate or look ugly. I think for a sort of final overview, the main sort of difference for these for me is that the Dior is a lot more intense, it's a little bit more metallic, it's quite gold, and it's a lot better to use on the body, obviously because it's made to also be used on the body, whereas the Charlotte Tilbury one is not. The Charlotte Tilbury is much more of a skin improving product. I feel like it blurs skin, it gives a little bit of glow, but it's not as intense, and it feels nice on the skin. But they both do. I do really understand why they called the Charlotte Tilbury a flawless filter. That's definitely what it feels like. I think that these two do different things, and whether whichever you are choosing, it depends on what you want. Something high intensity that you can use on the body, or something that is a lot more subtle and used just on the face, especially if you tend to not like to wear like a lot of makeup, a lot of foundation, then the Charlotte Tilbury might be a perfect sort of everyday product for you. Just has a little bit of coverage and it's beautiful. So hopefully that helps you make a decision, or you just buy both. Don't buy both, save your money. I feel like that's the advice I should give here. I know it took a long time to get this video. I know none of these products are by any stretch of the imagination new at all, but quite a few of you have requested that I do a comparison, so hopefully it's helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. As always, I'll try to answer them down below, and thank you so much for watching.